Hello everyone, Ted the Old Star Wars Nerd here. I hope you're doing well, and I want to thank you for joining me today because we're going to have another comic book read to us and performed for us and all kinds of good stuff here. This is Outlander Part 5, a comic dub from Auditect and his crew. He's got all kinds of great voice actors and stuff working for him, and he does great editing. Puts all the special effects in there, the sound effects, and music and all kinds of good editings, the wipes going from the pictures to the pictures inside the comic book. And that was one thing I meant to say in the last episode, was that I think that the way the pictures are different sizes and he has to zoom in on some of them, and some of them are skinny and tall and some of them are flat and wide, the transitioning between those, I think that helps to add to the illusion, at least in my mind, of a little bit of movement and makes it more of a motion comic, I guess, in my mind. But I always kind of, I don't know, I've always liked reading comics anyway, so I've had that kind of imagination anyways. But anyway, Auditect does great work, so let's quit babbling, old man, and let's get to it. Okay, I got it set up over here, and like I said, this is episode part 5 of Outlander, the Dark Horse comics from Star Wars, Dark Horse Comics. Anyway, here we go. All right.
The planet of Tatooine, in the Arcanist sector of the Outer Rim. At morning in the Judland wastes, the torrid light of Tatooine suns carve ugly shadows across rock and dune. Spreading upwards from the horizon, a stain of reds and purples leak into the sky, reminding one of nothing so much as the infective hue of gangrenous flesh. The Sand People call this canyon the Gafsa, or waking place in the tongue of the Old Ones. Here, the wielders of the Gaddafi begin their walk upon this world. Whether the Tuskens came here from elsewhere, or were issued from the cancerous sands of Tatooine itself, there is no clue. If the primitives know, they are forbidden to tell it. For the fierce tribes of the Judland, simply being is knowledge enough. The Tuskens are. That, they all say, is all anyone needs to know. And Tatooine, each second of life, is viewed as both a curse and a blessing. Throughout every waking moment, one is engaged in some battle of existence to achieve any hope of survival in such a harsh and brutal place. One needs to become just as harsh and brutal. Only when we have been born as the Sand People were born, and have lived as they live, we will understand their ways, or their apparent wickedness. A life of cruelty is all these beings have ever known. Do they feel any other sensation other than that? Do more benign emotions lurk in some corner of their leather-baked hearts? It seems doubtful. From an ancient field report from the Tatooine mining colony, Bureau of Ethnicity and Socialization, as filed by one Alkari, who later became a criminal.
Yes? What seems to be the matter?
Oh.
Was I snoring again? Sorry, must be the lack of humidity. We Syrians aren't used to it. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Uh-oh.
Come now. My honor wife Marwin's hit me harder than that for disturbing her sleep.
Yeah.
I regret to inform you that Bantha dung is more acceptable as cooking fuel than apparel. I just don't think this new look of yours will catch on.
Nice.
Stay back. If you attack me, I'll hurt you with my great magic.
Well, I guess they weren't so easily startled, huh?
Back into the shadows like dim-witted savages, Ki-Adi-Mundi. Such clever but ineffectual displays of the Force seldom impress them. They've seen far stranger things than Jedi magic in these mountains, I assure you. One's demonstrations must show more enthusiasm. Isn't that right, Sharad?
Ah.
The Tuskens take great joy in testing their enemies, Ki.
I'm not their enemy. I mean them no harm.
On Tatooine, the very air and sunlight are one's enemies. If you can make these people believe that you are less of one, then you certainly have my blessing to try. Now please put your filter mask back on. As I told you before, the display of flesh is forbidden among the Sand People.
Your son's force powers are great, Sharad Hett.
What about the rest of his
Sharad
head?
is a worthy Padawan. He will be a strong Jedi, even stronger than me, I think. We've been working at it since his birth. Together, father training son.
Believe me, few Jedi have had such an opportunity.
But have you taught him wisely? He wielded the Force violently, and for little reason.
He increased the likelihood that my warriors let you survive the day. Isn't that reason enough?
Point taken. My thanks, Sharad, son of Hett. I suppose I should help this fellow to his feet and offer my apologies.
No, Ootman!
In the Judland, one offers assistance only to the wounded or sick. Unless a coat of bantha dung is more debilitating than we guessed, this man is neither. Tatooine is a harsh world, Ki-Adi-Mundi. Things that need assistance soon die. Come, let's have some breakfast.
This is good. What am I eating?
Hubba bread. Not as fresh as what I would prefer to serve a guest, but at least it's filling. The wild hubba gourd is our primary food. Without it, we'd perish.
How do you manage eating with these masks on?
We have our ways.
Your son called me Ootman. Isn't that the name that the Jawas have given to the mysterious monster uniting the dreaded Tuskens?
It means Outlander, one from outside the Judland. It's an ancient Huttese word that's been absorbed into the common desert tongue.
Do they really think me a monster, Ki?
The Tuskens have been raiding with an organization that's never been seen before. Towns have been ransacked, people have died, and you, Sharad Hett, a knight of the Jedi Order, were the head of it all. Answer your own question, Sharad. Are you a monster, or have you merely gone mad?
Careful, Syrian. You go too far.
You profess to me that you're still a Jedi. Then tell a Jedi brother the truth. Why did you leave us? What drove you to this place? To these people?
I was exiled, Ki. Most of us began our training as infants. The few who were accepted at a later age were well known. Eeth Koth, who was my teacher, yourself, a scant handful of others.
Recently there was another. A boy found here on Tatooine itself. But that is of little consequence. At least for now.
I forget where that is in the timeline.
Nothing happens
Talking about
without
Anakin.
Consequence, Ki-Adi-Mundi. Every word and movement leaves its mark, even when we're not here to see it. My homeworld spawned many Jedi. The family whose child is raised in the service of the Order was envied by all. My parents were infinitely proud to be among those so honored. My master was an adventurous Zabrak named Eeth Koth. Unlike me, Eeth Koth was an orphan. Until age 4, he lived like an animal in the filthy slums of the smuggler's moon. The Jedi were his saviors. Eeth's talents were great, as was his heart. He was a great Jedi and a good friend. I loved him then, and I love him still. Many Jedi returned to the surface of
This
the
is
planets
really
of their
well
birth.
done. I'm just always
The
amazed.
circumstances of my apprenticeship were quite different. I was required to accompany my master to planets far from home. Though he tried his best to provide me with ways to remain in touch with my parents, the violent effects of the galaxy made this impossible. Visits to my family came less and less frequently. By the time I became a knight, I'd lost all contact with my loved ones. In the footsteps of my master, I was assigned to the most malignant corners of the galaxy to defend the weak and uphold the laws of the Republic. I never saw my parents again. In time, disturbing thoughts began to enter my mind, a gnawing feeling that some piece inside had been spirited away. Its loss had left an emptiness in my heart, which I knew could never be filled. I fought my doubts by throwing myself into the service of the Jedi. My dedication to the Order purged all other thoughts from my mind. Thus driven, my continual acts of dying became the stuff of legend. I was called the Howl Runner and the Hound of Worlds, nemesis of pirates and tamer of tyrants.
It's such a good story. I just keep forgetting to say anything.
Despite all
I
my
just get
attempts
sucked
to
into it,
silence my
watching.
doubts,
This is so
it
good.
would always creep back. The accolades of my fellow Jedi and their starry-eyed Padawans embarrassed me. Such lionization was counter to the selfless principles of the Jedi philosophy. At the same time, I was finding my ever-increasing power and influence to be quite seductive, a direct link to the perils of the dark side. Finally, I could tolerate these doubts no longer. I decided to confess my uncertainties to my former master and seek his guidance. Eeth Koth tried his best to understand, but was reluctant to advise me. Our pasts were too different, he thought. He promised to ask the council to arrange a leave of absence so that I could rejoin my family. He apologized for any pain he'd unwillingly caused, and reminded me that the destiny of all things is in the hands of the Force. Master Koth's wisdom gave me comfort. Feeling stronger, I vowed to return to my homeland to find my parents.
That was a long speech. Really well done.
It was then that destiny
Oh,
dealt
here we go,
me
more.
its most shattering blow. An alliance of off-world rivals had attacked my homeworld. Every major city on the planet had been razed. My entire family was dead. Suddenly, things seemed very clear. Despite all my training, all my acts of bravery, all my years of service, my whole life had been a sham. What use are a Jedi's powers, Ki, when he can't use them to save his own family? I decided to leave Coruscant forever. I aimed my cruiser for the wild worlds of the Outer Rim, far from the reach of the Republic and the Council, and crash-landed in the deserts of Tatooine. If I'd remained at the wreck, Jawa scavengers might have found me and delivered me to the nearest spaceport. However, it wasn't saving that I wanted. Alone, I wandered the scorching sands of the endless dune sea, seeking absolution and answers, living off whatever sparse provisions that the wastelands could provide. Finally, after months of living in the desert, I was confronted by the Sand People. They'd been watching me and had been impressed by my capabilities and endurance. So they decided to take me home. Like most nomadic bands,
tie him up and drag him.
mortality rate among Tusken bands is high, and their numbers are few. Thus, humanoid adoptees are occasionally taken in hopes that their blood will be compatible with Tusken's own. To survive the unforgiving rigors of the Tusken life way, I was forced to claw my way to a position of respect. Admittedly, my Jedi powers gave me an edge over these dangerous people. Otherwise, I might have never survived. I rose to favor quickly, and
Yeah?
in time was made a full warrior of the tribe. They taught me the ways of the Dune Sea, and I showed them new ways of fighting. The people of the Sands accepted me. I became a Tusken.
The music and everything behind it, that is just great.
Sharad was born 15 cycles ago. His mother's name was Kashyyyk. She was a great warrior. She was lost in a desert storm when Sharad was just a baby. I only saw her face twice. However, when I close my eyes, I can still see it. I loved her dearly.
Asharad's face I've never seen. On the day he was born, the nurses swaddled him in robes and bandaged his head. Together, we make war on the enemies of the Tuskens.
We are Jedi, Sharad, the guardians of peace.
Sometimes peace is a flame best kindled by the heat of a lightsaber, Ki. You know that.
Yes, Just as you know that on the day we joined the Order, we pledged to use our powers to defend and protect, not attack. To serve others, not to rule them. You made yourself chief of the Tuskens and carry war on the off-world settlers on Tatooine. How do you do these things and remain a Jedi?
Come with me, and I'll show you my answer. Perhaps then you'll understand.
So does he really still call himself a Jedi? Or is he kind of like Ahsoka? He's just, left the Order.
A burial site of some sort.
One as ancient as the Tuskens. Not many Outlanders have seen this place. A cycle ago, 100 of these claims didn't exist. That was before someone started attacking Tusken camps, poisoning wells, leaving disease-infected food for the Tuskens to find, and contaminated toys for our children. The tribes of the Judland wanted retribution, and I was not inclined to stop them. The wrath of the Tusken Raiders is a terrible thing, Ki-Adi-Mundi, as is their vengeance. They are masters of torture. To give pause to others who might attack them, they've embraced methods of warfare that are nightmarishly extreme.
Really?
I took control to prevent such degradations. We attacked Anchorhead to weaken their main staging points for attack. The 6 men who died were thugs and militiamen, whose shots came too close. The Jawa merchants at Machot Steep were distributing black market weapons to the settlements bordering our territories. Sadly, a few farmers were killed. I try to remind myself that they were buying guns to kill Tuskens. This is war, Ki. I won't let it become a rampage.
And you believe that the Hutt Jabba Dislegic Cure is responsible for igniting this war? For what purpose?
For this. Jabba triggered this war to create a demand for his outdated weapons. A fat worm has won great favor with the crime lords who supply these weapons. Tatooine is to be their main smuggling conduit in the Outer Rim.
The Hutt who controls this planet would earn many rewards from his patrons on Nal Hutta.
There are other Hutts on Tatooine. Rivals anxious to bring Jabba down and assume control of all that he's built so far. He must have many enemies here.
So do we, Jedi. So do we.
That's
I could
ours.
take them all.
Yeah.
3 shots would be so easy. 2 Jedi and the boy. Padawan. I'd be doing him a favor. 2 Jedi and the Padawan. They die or I die. Makes no difference. It's all the same game. The game can wait. Too early for the fun stuff. Business first. Sing here. Enemy located. Come on in.
Your coordinates are noted, Aurra Sing. Hold your position. The great army of Gardulla the Hutt.
Gardulla! Yeah, I wondered why they didn't use Gardulla instead of the twins on the Book of Boba Fett that's out now. Or Jabba's son.
That's that. Time to go hunting. Oops, silly me. Almost forgot. Another thing to take care of. Namely, the hunter that's hunting me!
I find no evil in your heart, Sharad Hett, nor in that of your son. I beg you now, come back to Coruscant with me.
My place is here, Ki-Adi-Mundi. Why should I leave now?
Because the Jedi have need of such as you. Now more than at any time within memory, the Sith have returned.
The Sith! Incredible! How can you be so sure?
Because the proof is written in the blood of a Jedi. Qui-Gon Jinn is dead, slain by a Sith of great power.
Qui-Gon Jinn, the old rascal. I was wondering why they sent you instead of him. This is a blow, friend Ki. And the Sith?
Slain by the knight who was Qui-Gon Jinn's student, a young Jedi named Obi-Wan
Yeah,
It is
Obi!
said that there are always two. It is the Sith way.
and I need not tell you that this is cause for great concern. I beg you, Sharad, you must return with me to Coruscant. The Republic needs your lightsaber and your skill.
So does Tatooine, Jedi. So do the Tuskens. We pledged to pursue the paths of justice and assist the oppressed, while I choose to defend this world. The planet of my birth is destroyed. My family is dead. I would have no world but Tatooine, and no people but the Tuskens. I am a Jedi Ki, but I am also a Tusken Raider. I will not go back.
Father, look!
Perhaps neither of us will be going back, my friend.
Well, that was very cool. That's the end of part 5 of Outlander. That was most awesome. That was a very talky issue. Lots of dialogue. That answered a lot of questions, gave a lot of backstory. Yeah, so there you go. That was really nice. That was really nice. Just kind of looking back through it real quick. I don't think I had any major questions or anything. Just really well done, of course, as always. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a great job. So thanks again. Thanks again for doing all that, Auditect. That is just awesome. I love going through this, and that was episode 5. So I think there's only one left, I think. I think it's only a 6-issue series. Yeah, I think so. I think issue 6 is coming up, and I think that's the last one. So be ready for that, and then we'll see what else is on tap. I know he's got Emissary of Malastare and some other good comics, so have to just dig around and see what I can find and decide what I want to do next. You got any comments or suggestions, please leave them below, all right? I am Ted, the old Star Wars nerd. Come back again, and we'll read some more comics, and who knows what all we'll do, okay? And until next time, you take care. Thanks.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy my videos, please click that like button, leave a comment below, and make sure you're subscribed so you can get notifications of all my future content. All of you are so great, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. Thanks for stopping in, and I hope to see you again real soon. Take care.